Marilia Candeloro doing a crash course for Italy, beginners crash course for the Prosper Circle. Welcome. The whole idea of the crash course is to share knowledge under 40 minutes, and that's very hard. I think it's easier to do a long video, but I know we're all super busy and we want something quick and we want to be able to understand our clients and suggest better things for them without losing our minds or a lot of time in the process. So here it is, the crash course for Italy for beginners. So I will go into more depth into everything that we're going to talk about here today. But the whole idea of this video here is that you understand what Italy is, where Italy is, and how you can help your clients to understand the different regions of Italy so you can suggest for them different itineraries based on the type of experience that they're looking for while traveling. Sounds good? Okay, let's start. I will start by sharing my screen with you guys because I want you to see the map of Italy. Okay, right? So this is Italy. Perfect. We all know it. Beautiful. I want to go over the regions of Italy and then the most basic types of itinerary that you can suggest for your client. By basic, I'm not meaning not good, not the wow experience that they're looking for. I'm not meaning that. I'm meaning the easiest, the most convenient, the basic stuff for them to see, which is 90% of people want to go and see that. We're talking about Rome, Florence, Venice, all of Amalfi Coast, the basics, okay? I call it the basics because there's so much more to Italy. But I understand that when people go for their first time or second time, they want to go see those staples. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about the different regions, and we're going to talk about how you can combine different regions or different cities that will make sense in an itinerary and not make your client lose a lot of time traveling between, but also seeing different parts of Italy. Because one thing is very important to understand about Italy. It has different regions and the regions change, like the culture changes. Not a completely different culture. We're not talking about like a completely like 180, but it's different. Like the type of food, it's Italian, but in this region, you're gonna find more of these. That region, you're gonna find more of that. So there are different things that people can see while going to Italy. And that's why I want to share with you. I plan trips to Italy all the time, literally every week, at least for 2 or 3 different families or couples or solo travelers. So I've been there many times. I know many of the regions already. I still have a couple to go to. But I want to share that with you because I feel like it's important when a client calls us asking for Italy trip and we've never been, it might be very overwhelming. You might be like, oh my God, I've never been. So maybe I won't be able to sell this destination because I've never been. And that's not true because I've been and I can share it with you. So that's why we're here. That's why we have a crash course on the Prosper Circle. At least you will be able to understand what it is, how it works, and then you're going to be able to tell your client more of this, more of that. You're going to be able to ask the right questions, and that's all that matters. It doesn't really matter that you haven't been. It matters if you know what you're talking about. And hopefully this crash course will help you. Okay, back to the map. We have Italy. Let's start from the top. So the top part of Italy, the north part of Italy, which borders Switzerland and Austria and then France here in the west, we're talking about cooler weather. Okay, so keep that in mind because if someone wants to go in March, they will probably get very, very cold weather, cold temperatures here in the north, which is very different from what we're going to see in the south. Okay, so first things is here you can kind of count with the weather being like Switzerland and Austria. similar to it, okay? It's not warm throughout the year. It's you're gonna find snow and well, in the Alps, of course, the Alps are around here. But it will be cold. You will need a jacket if you're going in the winter, late fall, early spring. That's the first thing. I usually like to mention that because a lot of people call us like, where's a nice place that I can go that is warm and cool in April? Okay, so we will probably want to direct them towards the south of Italy instead of the north of Italy because north of Italy will be cold. Um, Itineraries that you can do here in the north. Most people fly into Milan if they're going to do the north part of Italy. Milan is a great airport to arrive to and return from. We have multiple nonstop flights from the US, different parts of the US, into Milan. Then you can do Milan, right? We're going to go into more details of what exactly you can do and see and activities and tourist options that we have in each one of the cities like Milan, Como, Verona, Lake Garda, all of that into a different video, or else I wouldn't be able to do this under 40 minutes. But right now, it's important to mention that Milan is a very metropolitan city. It is not very, I joke about it, like it's not very Italian labeled in the means of it's not what you're looking at a postcard of Italy. Okay. If you get like Vienna or Zurich and Milan, they kind of like have this European feeling to it. So you will feel like you are in Europe for sure. But will you feel that you are in Italy when you see in the movies and all of that? Probably not. It's very like business like people are going and coming, lots of universities. It's a very large city and it doesn't have like a particular thing like the Colosseum or the Amalfi Coast that has beautiful waters. It doesn't really have that. There's, of course, the Duomo. It's very impressive. It's beautiful. But it has access to Lake Como, which is where a lot of people want to go because it also appears in movies and also appears in postcards of Italy and all of that. So good starting point if you want to do Lake Como, okay? Lake Como is very close to Milan. You can go by transfer, car rental, train. We'll go over that once on the crash course of North Italy. But right now, let's just say it's easy to get onto Lake Como from Milan. If you have someone saying like, I got these awesome tickets and it flies into Milan, maybe you could suggest them to spend a few days in Lake Como. It's easy to get there. Lake Como has this Y, upside down Y shape, tons of little villages and towns around it, beautiful. Como itself, it's here, it's a town, okay, in the south left of the Lake Como, and then they can go and explore the lake. Different ways to do that as well. Moving on into the right, into the east part of the top of Italy, we have Lake Garda. It's a much quieter lake than Lake Como in terms of people wanting to go there. But it's a beautiful lake, very similar to Lake Como, to tell you the truth. It's not as developed in terms of like these amazing hotels by the water and all of that, but it's also much better priced. So if you're wanting, you have a family or a couple, a little bit more of a tight budget, but they want to still have that experience of a lake in Italy, Lake Garda would be a great idea. Very close to Lake Garda, there's Verona. Verona, I feel like it's a very forgotten town in Italy because it's one of my favorite towns there. It's beautiful, it's small, it's walkable, it has a beautiful Colosseum that's still in use today. They have operas, they have music concerts, they have theater performance. It's great. And you can also just go and visit. So there's like the Romeo and Juliet house. The whole story is there. There's a nice tower that you can go to the top and see the like this beautiful view of the town. Anyway, very, very great city to make a stop if you have people wanting to do the north of Italy. And then moving on into the east, we have Venice. And Venice is Venice. Um, I always hear mixed things about Venice. I loved it. I hate it. Oh my God, it's wow. Oh my God, no, it's terrible. The water, it smells bad. Guys, I'm gonna tell you what it is, okay? And what it is a piece of land surrounded by water with a bunch of water canals in it. Does that mean that they can ever control what happens with the water in there? No, they can't. So you will see in the news sometimes that it's part of Venice, it's underwater, or people are using like those big boots, water boots, so they don't get wet. And that's just how the way it is in Venice. It's a very unique place. It has a very specific culture to it. It was a very important region of Italy before it was a unified country. Venice was one of the most powerful regions of Italy. It has a huge influence in everything that you see in Croatia and the Adriatic Sea. So, very, very, very interesting to see. Of course, some people are like crazy about it, some people are not, but it's very unique. Very easy to get to, trains everywhere to and from Venice. We're seeing a lot of cruises now departing from Venice. They are trying not to use the port here. Just a couple of cruise lines use this port of Venice here, which is in Venice, okay? But careful because when you see cruises in the Mediterranean that says departing or arriving or a stop in Venice, chances are it will not be this port, Venice. Okay. Chances are it would be either Ravenna, which is to the south here. It's pretty south. See how much I had to scroll down. So Ravenna, they are publishing the start of the cruise and the stop of the arrival of the cruise as Venice, but it's actually Ravenna. Nice town, beautiful, but it's about an hour and a half from Venice. Okay, so just be careful. Make sure that you're looking at the right information. The other port that they're being using for Venice is Trieste, which is here, right at the tip point of Italy. Okay, the border is here, and here is Croatia. So Trieste is another one, a little bit shorter ride from Trieste to Venice than Venice to Ravenna. But two big ports that I have been using for cruises. So make sure that if you have cruise people going, you know exactly which port you're using in Venice so you can arrange the proper transportation for them. Okay. Important to mention quickly about Venice. I said I wasn't going to say any specifics about any place, but I think this one is important. Venice last year installed a tax, a visit tax, which means that if you're not staying in Venice, your hotel is not in Venice or in Mestre, which is the city next to Venice. Okay, I'm going to talk more about Mestre when I talk about like the full itineraries in the north, but great option for people to stay. But if you're not staying in Mestre or Venice, you're staying in Trieste or you're staying in Ravenna, you have to pay the visitor tax before you go into the island of Venice. Okay, there's a that does that mean there's like a office guy like checking everybody that goes in? No, but if they are doing random checks and if they stop your client and say, where's your visitor tax? And you're like, I don't have one. They will get fined, and the fine is pretty deep, like it's 400 500 euros last time I heard. Who knows what it's gonna be. It's Italy, they change things all the time. But it's important for you to know because the travel agent needs to tell them, okay, if you're not staying in Venice, then we need to make sure that you get the visitor tax to go and visit Venice. If they're actually going to go to Venice, of course. Okay, north part is that. Moving a little south, we start to have Bologna and Parma and Modena. Okay, this is, and Ferrara. This is the still considered north of Italy, but moving south towards Tuscany. Um, Great place for food. Great place for food. So Modena has incredible restaurants. It's here, it's a little tiny uh, town. Parma is where Parmigiano Reggiano comes from, the cheese, and the prosciutto prosciutto di Parma. And then Modena, we talked about that. What am I missing? Bologna. Bologna is a big city. You can fly into Bologna, multiple trains coming in and out as well. Great if you want to do like pasta cooking class, getting like visiting a different region that it's not like Tuscany. I want to go a little bit off the beaten path. This region has a lot less tourists than Tuscany has. And it's incredible. Like it's beautiful. You can see the culture. This one, you're gonna feel like you're in Italy 100%. Um, the transportation between these places, Parma, Modena, and Bologna, is not the best, to tell you the truth. So if people want to explore this area, I would suggest a car rental. They can also do the Ferrari Museum. There are two museums actually very close to each other, but the Ferrari Museum is close by. So something to keep in mind. I actually was doing a itinerary for a client the other day. She wanted to go to the Ferrari Museum. I said, well, since you're gonna go there, let's do you go to a cheese factory to learn how they make the Parmigiano Reggiano, how to recognize the real thing. You can taste aceto balsamico. You can taste pasta. Everything is really good here. So here is the part that, well, everywhere in Italy, food is important, but I feel like this part here is like where food is really important. Moving on. A little bit before we get into Florence and Tuscany, there's a little part of Italy here that you probably heard of, and a lot of people ask to go there. It's called Cinque Terre. Cinque Terre. Need to improve my Italian. So these ones here, okay? Portofino, it's very well known as well. Beautiful little town. But majority of people really go into the Cinque Terre, which is this here. It's called Parco Nazionale delle Cinque Terre. And then there's Monterosso al Mare, Vernazza, Corniglia, Manarlola, Rio Maggiore. Okay. This is where, let's see if it shows like a picture. A lot of people see this in the picture with the colorful houses, very tiny, with this cliff and then the ocean in the bottom. So this is Cinque Terre. It's a beautiful place to go. Beautiful. We're going to talk more about that in details when we talk about Tuscany. The only problem is that it's very simple in terms of accommodations. So when we have, I feel like it's hard to find a place there for people to stay for the American market. Okay, I feel like Europeans would be fine, but the American market is a little, they expect a little bit more comfort, they expect a little bit more amenities, and it's very hard to find good hotels here. There are some in Monterosso al Mare, I've used them. I've also had people staying like Spezia, for example, which goes, that's where the train that starts the Cinque Terre, the park of Cinque Terre starts from. So we're going to talk more about that in details, but this is where Cinque Terre is. It is a possible day trip from Florence. Okay, I lost Florence. Here. It's a possible day trip from Florence, but it's a full day. Okay, they're gonna leave very early. They're gonna come back late. There are some very good tours on Viator, Project Expedition. I don't know which ones you guys use, but there are some that you can do a day trip to Cinque Terre. So they go there, they visit, but then they come back and stay at a better hotel. Okay, let's talk about Florence now. Everybody wants to go to Florence. And there's the Duomo, there's the Arno River, the Uffizi Gallery, the Accademia Gallery. So great, great, great place for people to go. And I use Florence a lot in my itineraries because it's kind of midway. So if people want to do Venice, it's very common to do Venice and Florence and then Milan, or Venice, Florence, and Rome, or Venice, Florence, Cinque Terre. It's very easy to connect Florence to other parts of Italy. So it's also a great option to use. And it's in Tuscany, and Tuscany is Tuscany. It's my favorite part of Italy. So far, I haven't been to Puglia yet, but I love Tuscany. I have this. Okay, it's just dreamy with all the houses, wineries. The food is excellent. The people are warm. It's great. So Florence, lots of things to do and see. And then day trips from Florence would be, for example, Lucca, which is a medieval town surrounded by it still has the medieval walls around it. And then Pisa, of course, we're gonna go to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And then Siena, which is a large, bigger town as well, not as big as Florence, but pretty important in Tuscany. And then San Gimignano, which is also a medieval town, somewhere in here. Anyway, then Chianti, the Chianti areas where the Chianti wine comes from. We're gonna go into more details. We're not gonna talk about Tuscany. We have to move on. Okay, then we go into this part of Italy that not a lot of people go to, and chances are you will probably not plan a trip there. Just, and I say this just because I feel like once people go to Italy and they see the basics, so Milan, Venice, Rome, Amalfi Coast, Florence, they kind of like start moving on into different countries. And now we're gonna go see Spain and Portugal and Greece and like Africa. Like they start to moving on into different destinations instead of going back to Italy multiple times to go into places that are more less known. With that being said, um, it is important to understand that it exists, it's there, and it's really pretty. Um, let's see. Okay. Perugia, Arezzo, Terni, Ancona has ferries into Croatia, Zadar and Split, if you ever have anybody asking for that. Um, let's go into Rome. I don't want to lose a lot of time here because honestly, I do a lot of Italy and I did this part once. So, Rome. Rome, it's Rome. I don't need to introduce you to Rome. A lot of people want to go there. This tiny little part here is the Vatican City. Don't want to go into the regions of Rome because there are different places that people can stay at. Some are better for one thing, some are better for the other thing. The Colosseum and all of that. What's important to know is that the airport in Rome, it's here. Okay, it's called Fiumicino Airport, and it's about an hour from Rome by train. It's a train called Leonardo Express, and it takes about an hour. It comes straight from the terminal at the airport, straight into Roma Termini, which is the main train station in Rome. With that being said, if you are arranging transportation for your clients, which will be like more upscale, right? They're gonna have a driver there with their name when they arrive there. They don't have to figure out where the train station inside the airport is. They can just go and find their name and find their driver. Just make sure that you plan enough time, like don't plan any activities for them right away because the traffic in Rome can get pretty bad. And although the train goes straight into the Roma Termini station, without any traffic, the car, on the other hand, will have traffic. So it can take anywhere from 1 hour to 2 hours to get to their hotel. Just make sure they know that, okay? Some things that you can ask. Do you want me to arrange transportation for you when you arrive in Rome airport? We have two options. It could be a transfer that I can pre-arrange for you and you're going to have a driver, or you can grab the train Leonardo Express that departs from Rome airport and arrives at the central station in Rome. And then from there, you can get a taxi or an Uber to your accommodation. Options, okay? Just sharing with you because I feel like it's important to know. And then you can kind of build up on top of this knowledge as you go with more experience in Italy. The other thing that I want to mention is, okay, here. Civitavecchia, okay? Civitavecchia, Civitavecchia, yeah. Did I say that right? Civitavecchia. Civitavecchia is the port where the cruise lines use for Rome. So see that again, it's not Rome, okay? They're gonna say Rome in the itinerary, but it's actually the port of Rome, which is here. And anytime that you have clients stopping in Rome, starting in Rome, ending in Rome in a cruise, you have to know to kind of have this in your mind that they will not be in Rome. So it doesn't say like, oh, okay, you can hop on and go see the Colosseum. Like they can, but they still have to find transportation, a tour, something that will get them into Rome. Okay. So you can imagine that from here to here is like an hour and a half. From here to here, it's 2 hours from the cruise port. Um, just keep that in mind for when you're planning trips there. Moving south, we're moving into the Amalfi Coast. Naples. A lot of people come to me and say like, "Oh, I want to visit Naples." I'm going to share with you my personal opinion on it, okay? Please do your research, read more. I hope this crash course is just part of the research for you, just part of the learning experience for you. But Naples is a big city. It is a port city, and it is one of the least safe cities in Italy. Okay, let's put it that way. I had clients who really wanted to go either because they had their great grandparents came from there, like whatever was the reason. And they came back to me. I told them what it was. I told them what to expect. And they were like, no, we're fine. And then came back. It's like, yeah, I know what you're meaning now. So it's hard to say this because things can change depending on the day that you are there. But it's not a city that I will put in an itinerary for a client without them, A, really wanting it, and B, understanding what it is. Okay. I would never suggest or add a night in Naples. Oh, we're going to put 2 nights here in Naples for you. I won't do that. I wouldn't do that if I were you. You do your own thing, but my personal recommendations. Okay. If you were my client, I was going to say, why do you want to go to Naples? And then you're gonna say, oh, just because I read it was nice. I was like, well, yeah, maybe if you're arriving in Naples from Rome from a train, and then before going to the Amalfi Coast, you want to kind of like spend a few hours in town with the driver, we can arrange that. On your own, going out, I wouldn't really recommend. Okay. Uh, Not to say that there are tourists there. There are many. It's fine, but there's nothing specific there that is a wow, that it's pretty, that it's worth it. And why? I'm like, why? Why do I want to go to Naples? So, my personal opinion, I'm sorry if anybody in there loves Naples. Um, I'm just trying to do like something that it's more acceptable, and again, target to the American market and to our clients because they have a specific idea in mind of what Italy is. They have been forming that idea throughout the years through postcards, photos they see on social media, movies that they watch. So we have to keep that in mind when we are planning an itinerary in Italy. And I joke with a friend, with some friends that are also travel agents the other day. They're like, well, some people say like they want authentic Italy and they want the real Italy. And then we send them to the real Italy and they're like, no. So what they actually want is Disney Italy. They want authentic Italy, but what shows in the movie and the postcards. So we have to know where to send them so they're not like completely baffled by the whole Italy idea. So my long story short, or long story short, long story long, um, I would skip Naples. But I use Naples all the time to make people come from Rome. It's just an hour train, nonstop, high speed. And then you're gonna get your clients a private transfer to go from Naples to the Amalfi Coast. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about Amalfi Coast without going too much details, but um, this is Sorrento. Sorrento is the entrance of the Amalfi Coast. Okay, it is where it is easiest to arrive from Rome, Naples, whatever. It's just easier. From Sorrento, you have all these other towns here, but where everybody wants to go, it's this place here called Positano. Beautiful. That's what you see on the postcards. Colorful houses up the hill, beautiful beach on the bottom, restaurants and shops and boats and all of that. So Positano, it's beautiful. It's very touristic. Okay. And I don't know if you noticed or not, this is the road that takes you into the Amalfi Coast. Pretty crazy, right? So all the curves, and it's funny because it's a crazy show when you're actually in that road and there's like buses and trucks and motorcycles and bikes and cars all together in a very, very thin road with lot of rock up there and a huge cliff down, and you're sure that you're gonna end up rolling down at some point. But for some reason, they all get along, they all make it work. Sometimes you're gonna see they yelling at each other, Italians doing their thing, which is very authentic. But back to Positano and Sorrento. Sorrento is the entrance, okay? It's a town that has a little bit more structure than Positano. And it has excellent hotels there, excellent hotels for the price of a three-star hotel in Positano. So, again, my personal opinion on it, I don't see why people would pay thousand and a hundred five $1,500 for a three-star hotel in Positano, which happens. Okay. I would rather spend 500, 600 a night in a five-star hotel with gorgeous view from our room in Sorrento. Again, give your clients options. Ask them what you're looking for. Maybe they have an unlimited budget and they can afford a five-star in Positano. Awesome. Great for you. Great commission. If they can't, give them option. Do you want to stay in a better hotel in Sorrento? Do you want to stay in a simpler hotel in Positano? Options that I will give you just quickly here because I will go into more details in the Amalfi Coast in a video about Amalfi Coast. They can stay in Sorrento and visit the other towns, do day trips there. They can stay in Positano and do the same thing, going to different towns. But there's Positano, Praiano. It's another one that has some good hotels, and then Amalfi, which is the town of Amalfi. It's here. And kind of like the end of the Amalfi Coast, but it's really not the end of Amalfi Coast because there's still Salerno here, which is a big town. But again, 99% of the people won't even want to go there. Okay. Um, was from Positano and from Sorrento, you have ferries that go into Capri, the island, beautiful, and Anna Capri, which is like the hilly part of the island. Let's move south. No, let's move east, southeast. Bari. Okay, let's move into the hill of the boot. Bari is the entrance for the Puglia region. Puglia region is upcoming. Like I think like a few years back, I haven't had anybody wanting to go there. And in the past 3 or 4 years, I had more people asking me about it. Excellent, excellent region for people who want a little bit more of the beaten path and they have more of a tight budget and they want to do a lot of their money. This region here, you can get really great hotels for a lot less than you would in Florence or Venice or Rome or the Amalfi Coast. Beautiful ocean also. You can also do like sailing trips and things like that. Monopoly, it's a very nice ocean town. And then I just saw it. Ostuni, which is a little bit inland, beautiful too. This Martina Franca, this is where you're gonna find those cone-shaped roof on top of the houses, the white houses with the cone-shaped roof. And the only thing here that is important to mention if you're talking about Puglia, also we'll try to do a video about Puglia, but uh, transportation, you need to have a car rental in this area. You have to. Uh, you will want to go to all these different towns. They are like 30, 40 minutes apart from each other, which is great. You can do 2 or 3 in one day and it's the car rental will be coming handy or else you're going to spend everything with a driver and it will be a lot. Again, possible if you have unlimited budget, great. If not, renting a car. And then Matera, I don't know if you guys ever heard about it or not, but this is where the W07 was recorded recently, the last one I think. um I'm trying to see a photo, but it has so Matera. It has houses and hotels in caves. It's beautiful. They have gorgeous hotels, gorgeous hotels there. So if you're looking like for someone who's in a honeymoon and they want to do something special, they want to visit Italy, they want to eat, pray, love. This region here is really good. Besides Tuscany, of course, eat, pray, love. Uh, this one is more laid back. If they want to rent a car, they want to explore on their own, they want to eat good food, they want to go to the ocean, this would be great. And then, of course, we have Calabria. A lot of people don't go there. Most people don't go there. And then Sicily. Sicily, I will say that Catania and Palermo are the two main towns. And you have a lot of things to do, project expedition, Viator, and all of that, in both places. Okay. The south here, Agrigento, has one of the best preserved Greek buildings outside of Greece. Beautiful if people are like history fans. Palermo is easy to get by ferry, easy to fly, and Catania also easy to fly. In Catania, I like it a little better just because you can go to a place called Syracuse. Okay, very nice town. And then you can go to the volcano as well. Oh, here, Taormina. I was looking up for it. So Taormina, it's a beautiful little town close to Catania. And then you can do the Etna volcano. Uh, where is it? I lost it. Let's go. Okay. Parque Etna. The Etna volcano. So it's a national park, and you can do some activities there, like ATV, hiking, things like that. So if you're having like an adventure family, this would be a good idea. This is mostly what people go to do in Sicily. Sicily, it's also important to know, like Sicily in the south and Calabria. This part, like once you pass the Amalfi Coast, south of Italy is historically simpler than the rest of Italy. So accommodations might be simpler. So make sure that when you're doing itineraries there, you're looking at the hotels, reviews, photos, checking with your DMC, checking with your supplier what they're recommending there, because it might be a little confusing to the client and for you when planning the trip to understand that this region, this whole part of Italy, functions differently than the north part. Okay, the north part, they're a little bit more up and going, and we're doing this like a little bit more uh, Europe, European size. And then on the south, they're more like that laid back Italian, let's go slow, no need to rush. Why would I change this if it's working? You know, that kind of mindset. So, just to give you some ideas of what to do, what to see, I don't want to overwhelm you with a lot of information, but I do want to give you enough information for you to start your research, continue your research, and understand better what it is to sell Italy. I want to say that once you do, it's one of the best countries for us to plan trips for our clients because there's so many things to do there. So many, like the wide range of activities that is possible to do there, and a lot related to food and drinking and Vespa tours and sightseeing and photos and hiking and like all sort of things. It's a very good country to wow your clients. Very good country to do that. Like you can wow them with a great hotel, 4 stars, but it's like super cute, and you meet the owner. And you can then send them into learning how to make pizza overlooking the Mediterranean in the Amalfi Coast. So there's so many wow possibilities in Italy that I feel like it's a great country for us as a travel agent to really shine and really show there that we are worth it being working with, that we know what we're talking about, and then we are able to offer them an amazing experience. Hope this was helpful. 43 minutes, I almost did it. Hope this was helpful. I hope to see you in another video soon. Bye.